when the rebellions came after the assassination of Dr. Martin Luther King, I decided I wanted to be part of the movement. But the movement I chose to be a part of was going down to 7th Street at that time here in Washington, D.C., in the office of the Black Panther Party, where it was at that particular time, and went to the political education classes, helped them sell Black Panther papers on the streets downtown. And this was in my teenage years, maybe around 15, 16 years old. But I always remember that one of the Panther brothers gave me this book. It was this little red book. It was Chairman Mao's book. And I was just so honored. Oh, my goodness, thank you so much for this. When do I need to return it? And he very glowingly said, when you have internalized his teachings, my sister. And, that just did me because, as a young teenager and all the dudes were fine and all that. And this was during the time when the Black Studies was first coming into the schools. And in my 9th grade Black Studies class, there was this huge poster on the wall. It was the poster of a Black man in a Grand Slam wicker chair with a gun in one hand and a spear in the other hand, and black beret on his head, and all the girls in my class were talking about how fine this dude was. And I was asking the teacher, well, why is he in jail? And why is the leader of the Black Panther Party being represented by white lawyers? Sure, they were progressive lawyers and radical lawyers, but why is the leader of the Black Panther Party represented by whites? Where are the black lawyers to represent the black people? And from that moment on, I knew that I wanted to be a lawyer. I wanted to be part of that process of helping to represent the black people, quote unquote, and helping to combat injustices in society. So professionally, that is in fact what I did. When I graduated from law school, my first act was actually to get arrested in front of the South African embassy in protest of the continued incarceration of Nelson Mandela and the continuation of apartheid in South Africa. I was in good company. There was Dick Gregory, there was Jesse Jackson, but that momentary deprivation of liberty, of having to wear the plastic cuffs, really ingrained upon me, how much injustice that there is. That momentary deprivation had an impact upon me. People who are tried and convicted of criminal offenses, does it take 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 years for them to learn a lesson? The sentences that are meted out today are just so grossly disproportionate to the offenses that were committed, if in fact they did commit the offenses. There's so many people who are out there who are actually innocent of the offenses that they have been convicted of. Many people have been actually really forced, and I have to say it in that word, forced to plead guilty because they are facing such horrendous time that if they take the chance and go to trial, that they might, in this white supremacist system that we are confronted with, they might end up spending much more time behind bars, warehoused behind bars, than they might have if they had accepted the plea. So that's one of the reasons why also that I wanted to work in the area of criminal justice reform, sentencing reform, and seeking to educate people to Jim Crow justice, what I call it, and many of the abuses that go on in the system under the guise of white supremacy.